Hey, Red Knights, we are back with a new paired selection. This paired selection is called Family Traditions. The genre of this paired selection is a expository text. An expository text is a text about real facts which you can learn from. The stories that we've read earlier in the week had the genre realistic fiction, which means that they were stories based on realistic events, but the author made them up. So, we're going to compare texts today. We're going to compare the realistic fiction text that we read earlier in the week to this expository text, which has real facts which we can learn from. It says, read about different traditions that families celebrate. So we're going to read through our paired selection, and at the end, we're going to compare those texts. Okay, so let's get started with our reading of family traditions. We'll listen to it being read, and then we'll stop and ask and answer some questions.
Family traditions. Many different people live in the United States. Some come from other countries. Some groups have been here a long time. Each group has its special culture and traditions. People want to keep traditions alive. They share them with their families. You can learn about people by looking at their traditions. Celebrating a New Year. Chinese families celebrate Lunar New Year. Lunar New Year happens in January or February. It lasts about 2 weeks. The holiday means that winter is ending. Spring is on the way. The traditions for Lunar New Year are very old. Adults give children bright red envelopes. Red stands for good luck and happiness. The envelopes are full of good luck money.
All right, so we just learned some really neat things about this tradition that this Chinese family celebrates with the Lunar New Year. So over here, I see a photograph to support the text that we just read. Now, in expository text, you'll usually see a lot of different things called text features. Text features are things added to the text to help us understand the words better. You might see different types of text features, such as photographs with captions, like we see here. You might see maps or graphs. There are a bunch of different text features to help us understand and support the words in the text. So let's take a look at this photograph and the caption. It says, families wear colorful costumes to celebrate Lunar New Year. And we did read that in the previous page in this paragraph. So how does the photograph of the Chinese family support the text? Let's take a look at the different things that we notice in the photograph. First, let's look at the fun glasses that they're wearing. What does this tell us about the text that we just read? Next, look at their red clothing. What did the text say about red clothing? Last, how does the family feel? What can we look at in this photograph that tells us how the family feels? Let's continue reading our text.
This holiday is also a time for feasts. Chinese families share sweet, smooth rice cakes. Some families eat a whole cooked fish. They give oranges as presents. They eat noodles too. These foods are symbols for a happy year and long life. In most big cities, families watch the Lunar New Year parade. Dragon dancers glide down the street. Lion dancers wear costumes in red, yellow, and green. Bands march by in rows. Their drums beat out happy tunes. People in traditional costumes go by on floats. They wave to the crowd. Bang! Watch out for firecrackers. They are part of the tradition too. Loud sounds are symbols of a joyful time of year. Caption: Families wear colorful costumes to celebrate Lunar New Year.
So, authors use descriptive words to add meaning to the text and to help the reader visualize in their brain what is happening. How did the author use descriptive language in this text? Well, in this paragraph down here, the author uses descriptive verbs. Verbs are actions, such as the word glide, march, and beat. These words have an effect on us as readers as we're reading through the story. These words show action and are visuals. They help me to see the sights and sounds of Lunar New Year parade.
Families get together. Summer is a time for family reunions. Many American families enjoy this tradition. Aunts, uncles, and cousins travel from far away. Family members play games together. They tell family stories. They share traditional foods such as barbecue and homemade sweets. Sometimes there's a talent show. Family members often wear special t-shirts to show their pride. Reunions can last for 3 days. People feel sad when the reunion ends. Then, planning begins for the next one. Caption: This family enjoys traditional foods at their reunion.
All right, I see another text feature down here to help support the text. It has a picture of the American family and their traditions, and it also has a little caption to help us understand what is happening in the photograph. So, what is the main idea of the text on this page that we just read? So, what is the main idea of this section of the text? Families get together. What details support the main idea?
Storytelling and dance. Many Native American cultures have traditions of storytelling and dance. The stories are from long ago. Older people tell the stories to their children and grandchildren. They may use the culture's native language. The stories explain things in nature. They tell about the courage of early people. Some Native American groups get together in the summer. They meet at big powwows. These festivals celebrate culture through dance and music. Storytellers bring the old tales to life. The soft notes of a flute may help tell a story. The firm beat of a drum adds power. People from other cultures can watch and listen. Everyone enjoys the stories and learns about the traditions. Traditions are everywhere. Traditions are a kind of glue. They hold families together. They make a culture strong. And traditions help us know the many people in the United States. Native American storytellers pass down tales from long ago.
So, under this heading called Storytelling and Dance, we learn about a Native American family. We also get some text features of photographs and a caption to help us understand what we read in this section. While we were listening to this part about the Native American culture, we came across this word powwows. What words in nearby sentences can we look at to help us figure out what a powwow is, what the meaning is? So let's go back and reread the last section here titled Traditions Are Everywhere. This heading in this last paragraph pretty much wraps up all the different cultures that we were introduced to. Traditions are a kind of glue. They hold families together. They make a culture strong, and traditions help us know the many people in the United States. So, all of these different cultures that we just read about in our paired selection are all cultures that we find in America, which is a really an amazing thing to see all the different traditions that people celebrate in our country. So, in the beginning of the story, we talked about the stories that we read earlier in the week about Yoon and the Jade Bracelet and Bayan and his dream catcher. And now we just read about more family traditions that we have in the United States. I can compare all of these different texts to learn that family traditions help us to understand what each family values and enjoys doing. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have enjoyed reading our paired selection about family traditions.